Does your
AM KBDT proudly presents Life Solutions, coaching, counseling, naturopathic medicine, insights for successful living, and getting better with Ann Beal.
Welcome to Getting Better. It is a beautiful day today this fall. We are having our Thanksgiving show today. We want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving coming up. And I invited the perfect guest for with Thanksgiving coming up, giving thanks, just being thankful and grateful for everything God's done in his life and the blessings God's poured upon him. I have Ray Maldonado. He is retiring, officially retired. When, Ray? When did you retire?
It'll be next year, early next year.
Oh, you haven't actually retired yet.
Just taking some vacation time.
So he is retiring after 50 years at In-N-Out. And he started at In-N-Out when he was 16 years old in the first In-N-Out in California with the Snyders, the couple that started the first In-N-Out in their little building. And he has been there for 50 years and is one of the top managers there. He's one of the top regional managers that blessed us in Texas, bringing all the In-N-Outs here. And when I was in California, I loved In-N-Out, and we'd stop no matter what state we're in. If we happened to see an In-N-Out, we just have to do it. And so they finally brought it here, and Ray's responsible for that and all the people that helped him. And we just wanted to celebrate a life well lived and his retirement and his loyalty, and just really have him on to share with you guys, just for him, what retirement's going to be like, what he's going to be doing that next phase of life, and all the things for him. We've had him on many times about In-N-Out, but we know that there are many incredible things he's learned there, and then also he imparted there. Just excellence, the importance of small things, and has brought In-N-Out to just an incredible place. And we just thank you for being on, Ray. Thank you for being here. And I have Dr. Jim Slaughter. He is the host of Loving Well, Men Loving Well on graceandtruthradio.world.
Right.
And he works in our clinic, and we are just thankful to have you here.
My pleasure. It's always good to be on with Ray.
And he's friends with Ray.
Been friends for a while now and enjoyed a number of experiences together. And Ray, it's really, really good to see you again and to have you on the program today.
It's great to have you here, Dr. Slaughter.
Thank you.
Well, Jim, I switched microphones. We switched seats, right?
Yes.
And I saw Christy, my producer's face, because she had prepared your microphone for your soft voice. And I saw her face glaring at me, and I was like, so I switched them back on Facebook. If you wonder why I switched the microphones back real quick. So we have kind of a mishmash on the microphones right now.
So are we, whoa.
Are we okay? Okay, we're good. Okay, let me tighten that for you.
Yeah.
Okay, Ray, we have a lot to cover today. Thanksgiving coming up. What would you like to share?
Well, let me start off with the story because I think it's really important. A couple of years ago, I put together an article for our company bulletin, and it was about the meaning of thanks and thank you. So when I was 16 years old, I started In-N-Out Burger in 1969. And at that time, the founder, Harry Snyder, was the leader of the company. Well, I had a small orientation that was no longer than probably 5 or 10 minutes, which is much different today. We've done a much better job with orientating our people. But one of the things that they said was that no one comes in the door. We're very private about how we process everything that we do at In-N-Out Burger, because that's how special we are. And we want to make sure that it's not about a secret. It's about keeping our ingredients and everything that we do in-house. So one of the things that I was told was that nobody comes in the back room door except an officer if he has to place a phone call. And that's the only other people other than the ones that work there. So there was a knock on a door. It was a Saturday afternoon. And I opened the door, and there was a small gentleman, balding, and he said, I need to come in. And I said, I can't let you in. And he said, yeah, you can. And I said, no, I can't. And so that exchanged a couple of different times. And then he said, I need you to go in there and ask the cook, which was the assistant manager at the time, if you can allow me to come in here. And I said, okay. So I went around the car and I went in there. I told the manager at the time what was going on. He looked through the window And he said, Ray, that's Harry Snyder. Well, Harry Snyder was the founder of In-N-Out Burger. And so after he told me that, I went out the door and I walked around the car so I could let him in. And the first thing I'm thinking, okay. So I'd been there a couple of months. I'm thinking, okay, where do I go look for a job now? So
I was
thinking that was a very short employment. Before I could do anything or say anything, he extended his hand, he shook my hand, and he said, Ray, thank you for doing your job. My name is Harry Snyder. And so that was the first part, 2 months in to a thank you. Not much after that, maybe a year after that, we had broken one of our sales records, and there was a prime rib dinner at Glendora Country Club where him and Esther were there, which is his wife, Esther Snyder. So you got to bring a guest, and you had a prime rib dinner at a country club, and right at the door, as people walked in, there he was, Harry and Esther. Thank you. We want to thank you for what you did to help your store reach their goals. And so that was so prevalent throughout the course of my 50 years of a career, where there were so many thank yous and thanking people. Yeah, whether you got paid for it was not the important part, but the appreciation and the thanks that people gave each other for the job that they did impressed upon me the importance of thank you. And what a great thing to talk about for, the season that we're in the Thanksgiving season.
Absolutely, yeah.
So were they always so affirming and appreciative there? Did you feel like that was one of the main things that endeared you to In-N-Out and kept you there?
Well, that's a personal appreciation. What I got out of that was a personal appreciation for what you did. It was personalized. So it's one thing to say thank you to someone, but when the founder and his wife and the rest of the leaders, I would have it the next several years in the company, would give you a personal thank you, that says something. That's a meaning. That's one of those things that keeps you at a company.
So what would you say to people that are so busy, they think they're so busy that they don't even have time to return a phone call?
It's interesting that you bring that up now. So today it's also social media, and it's a text and everything else. When I first went to Arizona, and my first assistant that I hired there, she was my assistant there. One of the things that I told her, I said, you don't have a lot of contact with people in the company, and there's going to be a lot of emails that are exchanged. I said, I expect you, because now you're representing me, to reach out and pick up the phone, introduce yourself, tell people who you are, and tell people that you're representing me, because that phone call and that personal relationship must be started by you, because now you're an extension of who I am. And you don't see that very often anymore.
No,
it's all automated.
In general, I think people, they think they're too big for like that kind of thing. And so if someone in the company, or even friends, they get to the point where if people call them, they're too busy, they don't have time. And so they'll make time, but they don't ever do it. And I think that that's how you lose people, whether you lose people in your personal life or you lose people in your work life, because you don't take the time to just appreciate them as a person. And so putting things in place, and I know you did that, put things in place to appreciate the people around you, because so many people know who you are, and that your name all through In-N-Out. They're like, Ray, he's awesome. He's like the best person. And it tells me that when they think of you, they think of positive feelings. It makes them smile every time they just smile. And I told you the woman that was saying, he was such a good man. He was such a good manager. He was such a good person. And I'm like, he still is. And she's like, well, yes.
That's what I mean.
Because she said, well, he's retired. I'm like, but he's still alive, right? And so I think that for you, I know you've embraced retirement. You've been working on your beard because you have had some time off.
Yes.
And so I assume you had to shave every day of your work life, of your career. So when you're off, you don't shave.
Well, and I put it like this. I grew up in the 60s. And you know what the 60s were about.
The beatniks?
Well, I wouldn't say it was all. It was not like that.
That was 50s.
That was the 50s.
And the 60s.
But in the
early
60s, I'll put it in the context for you. So I started at In-N-Out Burger 3 months before Woodstock.
Right.
Wow.
That's what I was thinking. Woodstock, yes.
So, I played football. I worked. So the whole time was like, I was a regimented individual. Got up very early, did the work and all of that stuff. So shave and all that. Maybe I didn't shave on the weekends, but I'll tell you what. So this is just one of my friends said, Ray, I saw that picture. What is going on? I said, well, it's just a face. We'll see what happens.
It's fun, though. Isn't it fun?
It is fun.
There's so many facets to a person. And to see you being off and just embracing life and having fun, I think it's awesome. I thought he's having fun. Mm-hmm. He's having fun. And, we, us women, all we can do, we can change our hair, color our hair or whatever. We can't grow a beard. And just, I think I'll see if I can grow a beard. Jim's laughing at me.
I think you're right.
I think it'd be awesome. So anyway, I'm glad you're embracing your time off.
Yeah.
Would you say that when I talked about at the intro about small things matter, excellence, all that, and the reason I'm saying that, when I asked that, is because you were talking about even seeing one of the burgers when you came to one of the stores, and the burger didn't look right, and you felt like it was messy, and you got all of them around you to show them how to prepare the burger right. And that's something, making sure the small things are done well. And I just assume that's like one of the mottos of In-N-Out. Did you learn that from In-N-Out, or was that your own value that you imparted to In-N-Out?
I think it's just a part of understanding what the standards are. A lot of things that we talk about at In-N-Out are standards. But if you really incorporate that, you have a standard for how you live your life. You have a belief system. Well, one of the things that we always say, if it looks good, it tastes good. Okay? So we're not going to send something out that would be a misrepresentation of how our burger looks and how it tastes. Okay? Because that's all we serve as a burger. And it has to look good. If it looks good, it tastes good. So if it's not going to go out to that right, that might be that only person's In-N-Out burger and their treat for a month or several months. Who knows how many times they can afford to come in? If that's that one person who can come in and have the way that it looks on our menu and the way that it looks when they get it in their box, that's the way it has to look.
Well, we have people on Facebook Live, so I want to let you know, if you are listening to the show on the radio, we welcome you. Thank you. We hope you'll constantly come on Saturdays at 12 to listen to our show, Getting Better. You can also listen on bigdtalk.com, bigdtalk, TALK.com, and you can go on Facebook Live on Getting Better with Ann Beal and actually watch the show. We have people on, and we have Callie, which I told you is on, and we have my mom. Of course, my mom, Marta's on. I just want to let you know. And Bruce, and his name is Bucks, B-U-C-Z.
Bruce Buzz.
He is saying that California misses you, Ray.
He's a great friend of mine.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So just know that you have those options to listen. I know, Jim, that you wanted to ask him about when we were talking about excellence and small things matter.
Well, yeah, there are several things I'd like to say about that. And I wanted to mention, we were watching a movie the other night, just kicking back after work and everything, watching a movie. And there was I think it was maybe a law firm as a part of the movie and what they were doing and everything. And a person was addressing the board of this law firm. And they made the statement in there. This woman was trying to impress upon them how important it was that they take care of details, make sure that they're doing the right thing and serving people well. She said, "We are not In-N-Out yet." And I thought, whoa, this is a movie, and they're referencing the excellence of In-N-Out Burger. And I wanted to say that today because it just follows up on what you were saying, and wanted you to know that the world knows, Ray. I mean, they really do understand, at least in part, what you're doing there, and they appreciate it. We appreciate it.
That's a nice hat, by the way.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I'm wearing a hat. Some of you can't see it, but it's an In-N-Out Burger hat that Ray gave us the last time we were together. And, the neat thing is it says on one side of the bill, it says quality you can taste, and that is really true. And there's this small sphere on the front logo. Yeah, it says In-N-Out Burger and has their colors and everything. And so thank you. I thought I'd wear it today just for people who are watching and all that. But we're really fans for sure.
So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. In the meantime, drive through and In-N-Out and get yourself a burger. We'll see you right back here, and we'll tell you the important things to remember for the break.
Been listening to Dr. Wallach, and I bet you have some questions. We want to help, and here's how you can get the answers. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down.
and make the call right now. Don't wait any longer to find out how Dr. Wallach's own all-natural nutritional supplements by Youngevity can help you. Are you concerned with reducing your risk of heart disease, cancer, stroke, or high blood pressure? Help is available. Do you have arthritis, sore joints, lower back pain, or fibromyalgia? Call now. Dr. Wallach creates his own formulation so you can be sure that what is on the label is actually in the bottle. Whatever your health challenge, make this call. Thousands like you have seen results for a happier, healthier life. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Call today, 800-214-0065. Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible Youngevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. They say we're not getting any younger, but many thousands have felt younger after a few short months using Dr. Wallach's all-natural Youngevity nutritional supplements. How many times have you said one of these days, I need to call Dr. Wallach and find out what I need? Well, make that day today. Here's how to get that information. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call. The information is free, and there is no pressure. So do it now. That's 800-214-0065. If you face health challenges such as heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, fibromyalgia, depression, infertility, ADD or ADHD, high blood pressure, or one of hundreds of other diseases, help is available. All you have to do is make the call. You have nothing to lose but the pain and suffering. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
What does it mean to be an American? Just what are our American values? Working hard to succeed, loving God, country, and family, being honest, strong, and compassionate.
Supporting our Constitution and recognizing that we are blessed to be living in America, the greatest country in the world.
Our Bill of Rights protects us, our freedoms of worship, speech, and privacy, our right to own firearms, our right to trial by jury,
our right to be free, to live our own lives without some bureaucrat telling us what to do. Most countries don't have these rights.
Want to know more? It's all there in the book. Get your own free book, The U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Then read it again, and this time share it with your friends. Our great Constitution is the basis of all of our freedoms, our inalienable rights. Get your own copy at freeusbook.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
I've got to admit, it's getting better, a little better.
And now here's more Getting Better with Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
Welcome back. We had a good break talking. If you want to hear us during the break, go to Getting Better with Ann Beal Facebook, and you can continue listening to all the great information that we heard from Ray. We actually asked him on the break about at his retirement party that we attended, everybody made statements like, Ray says, if you're not early, and everybody goes, you're late. And he's very timely, and he beat us here this morning, and he had his watch up. We're kidding around. Because we had a guy say that he actually got to Starbucks 30 minutes early to meet you, and you and another guy that works with you were on their way out. They were like, well, God, you're late. He's, but no, I'm early. How early am I supposed to be? It is all a big joke. But I asked him if he got that from the company, and you said...
My dad.
Your dad.
Yeah.
So it must have impressed you. Is that how the standard he held you to? That if you're not early, you're late?
He did.
Whoa.
It's how we arrived at events, wherever we were going or wherever we were supposed to be. We had to be there at a specific time, and it was at least 15 minutes early that we had to be there. Mm-hmm. And I've always been, that's the only way I've operated. That's the way I was brought up.
I've discovered too, I tend, even though it may not look like that today, I tend to have operated by that principle as well. And what it does for me, it makes the people around know that I care what we're doing. I need to care about them. It also gives me an opportunity, if there's something that needs to be fixed before I get there, I have time to do that. So you have a lot of tweaking that you can do if you're early, and if you're late, you can't. And so it just goes smoother.
It was funny, too. This morning we had a men's group meeting, and who was the first one there? I was, of course, but you know what? Probably would have bothered me a little bit if I wasn't.
Well, was it a Connect meeting this morning that you went to?
No, we have a men's group, and we meet once a month. It's called Men in Christ, and one of the guys that I met at Wingman, he started the group, and he just does a phenomenal job. So we meet the fourth Saturday of every month, and it was a great meeting. Today was about identity. It was about your name. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know this, but my name means protector. And he told me, he got everybody's name and he kind of broke it down for them. And I didn't know this either, but Jesus in Greek means savior. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah.
Did know that.
And so it's so many names have changed. And we talked about, the combination of names and how people are named today. Even the spelling, my wife would tell you she was a principal, so she's a stickler for the English language. If something is pronounced incorrect, it just bothers her immensely. So our identity is tied to who we are.
Well, it really is in many ways. And identity has become a really strong, consistent theme these days in the Christian community. A number of people who have written these days have written about identity in Christ, and have really sought to emphasize that theme. So it's interesting you guys did that today.
Yeah, we did.
And it really is crucial. And it's very, very important to know who we are and why we are who we are. So thanks.
Well, because your titles change and your job roles change. And I think identity, especially going into retirement, is a very important thing, how you identify yourself. Because a lot of people don't really think that through before they retire. And they always thought of themselves as a manager or a boss or whatever in their role, like me being a counselor or a life coach or a radio host. And then I retire, and they feel like they lose their identity.
It's because we've connected our identity to what we do rather than who we are, don't you think?
I do, immensely.
Yeah. And guys have really done this a lot, and women too now and everything. But whenever we start doing that, we're going to begin moving off the true path, because we are going to get the wrong impression of who we really are, and we're going to tie it to skills rather than personhood,
It's interesting. In our discussion this morning when we were talking about it, I said, Bill, when you brought that up, Bill is our leader, and I said, the first thing that I went to was when I started thinking about when the disciples, and they're having Jesus is asking them, well, who do they say that I am? And, they say that this person says that you're this, and this person says that you're a prophet, and this person says you're this. Mm-hmm. And then I said, well, what Jesus said was, well, who do you say that I am? And so if we went about asking people about who they think that we are, how we define ourselves, it really will lead us to understand what our identity is through other people.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about it that way, but it made me wonder if I asked people that may even know me, quote, quote, who am I? Who would you say that I am? They might say I'm a minister or a counselor or something. Would they talk about my identity in Christ and how loved I am by Him? I don't know. I would like to think that maybe they would, but that's something I need to think about some more, How do I come across to other people?
Yes.
And I think that people with our ranch and our vineyard, people were like, why would you sell that? That's your dream home. And I said, I have many dreams. I have many dream homes. People dream of a house on the mountain, by the ocean, by the lake. We have many dreams.
Yep.
Are you struggling?
To Dr. Wallach, and I bet you have some questions. We want to help. And here's how you can get the answers. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call right now. Don't wait any longer to find out how Dr. Wallach's own all-natural nutritional supplements by Youngevity can help you. Are you concerned with reducing your risk of heart disease, cancer, stroke, or high blood pressure? Help is available. Do you have arthritis, sore joints, lower back pain, or fibromyalgia? Call now. Dr. Wallach creates his own formulation so you can be sure that what is on the label is actually in the bottle. Whatever your health challenge, make this call. Thousands like you have seen results for a happier, healthier life. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Call today. 800-214-0065.
Who could ever take care of your sweet fur baby as well as you do? Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies, that's who. If you live anywhere near Fort Worth and need a trusted pet wellness center, look no further than Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies. They'll take every possible measure to ensure your animals get the care they deserve. The highly trained animal lovers at Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies work hard to learn everything they can about veterinary care, and they share that information with you. They offer grooming for dogs and cats, pet food, toys, supplies, and all the clothing your pet needs to be happy, healthy, and well cared for. Yes, I said pet clothing. They even have a self-dog wash available. Whether it's grooming, loving care while boarding, or even training for your baby, call Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies today. 817-720-6067. That's 817-720-6067. Or find them on the web at www.petmesupplies.com. Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies. 2 locations to choose from, Hazlitt and Saginaw. Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies. Call today. What is the Del Walmsley Radio Show?
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show Monday through Friday from 11 until noon.
It takes a whole lot more effort to get something started in your life than it does to keep it moving.
Del Walmsley has moved thousands closer to a great life. The Del Walmsley Radio Show is now on 1160 AM KBDT, Monday through Friday from 11 until noon. Listen and move toward your great life today. Now, 214-810-8255. 214-810-TALK. Now, more with Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
I am sitting here looking at an In-N-Out. It looks like a coin.
It is a
that
coin.
Ray brought
Yeah.
me today. And I thought, oh, it's like a $50, a memorable coin, a memorial coin. And he says, it is a free double coin.
It is.
And you guys minted these coins as coupons or what?
No, as a coin.
As a coin.
As a burger coin.
And I'm supposed to, so if I go get a burger, I have to give it to them?
Yeah, you don't get it back.
Oh, I don't want to do that. No, it's incredible. Looky.
And we may have to save these, and these are pretty special, you know?
Yeah, and it's got his protective cover. He goes, go get a free double. I'm like, no, I'm going to keep it. It's pretty incredible. Right.
You know what we are going to try, though? We're going to try the grilled onions next time.
Okay.
We've never done that. and we're
Are
gonna
yours
do
when
it.
you've talked about the best burger to try, to go to In-N-Out and just have it, sit down and enjoy it. And you said to get it with onions.
Yes, yep.
But did you mean grilled onions?
No, just regular.
Okay,
That's
we've done
what
that.
we've always done in the
We've
past.
done
is
that.
somebody said, hey, try the grilled ones. I like that. So we may do that this time.
So
They're
you
probably
don't
all
get
good.
cheese on yours.
I haven't had one in a while, but when I go back, I'll just get a double with everything.
With everything.
Everything.
Which is what this coin is.
That's
a
it.
double with everything. And that's what you get, Dr. Slaughter, right there, Jim. You
That's
get the
it.
double with
I
everything.
do with pretty much everything, including the slice of onion. I love it. So,
Now, In-N-Out is not open on Thanksgiving. I actually posted that as one of the pictures that In-N-Out says that they're giving the day off for the workers to be with
yes,
their
the
families. And just know it's not open on Thanksgiving if you're thinking there to go there. And that's because they really believe in family, right? And they want the workers to spend time with families.
Yes.
And we've actually discussed that in other shows with In-N-Out, how they work to protect the families of workers so that you're not. I mean, so many people in the restaurant business work all the time and their families break up.
It's a tough business.
It is. It's a tough business. So, Ray, we were talking about identity in Christ, and you were saying you see your identity as
As a people developer.
your people developer. And
Yeah.
so when you retire, you've already prepared for retirement. You already have what you're doing next.
Yes.
You have a radio show coming up. Do you want to mention the show?
yeah, I think it'd be a good time to do that. You have a radio show that you're going to start here pretty
Yes.
soon. Could you just let us know a little bit about that, and then I'll tell them how to access it. But what's your program about? What inspired you to start a show and all of that? What's going to happen?
It's going to be called Defining Moments. And one of the things that, and there's a couple men that already that I've asked to be on the show. One of the things that's important is that as you have an epiphany, let's call it, right? And that light bulb moment that goes on for you, and you understand what you're going through or what you need to, where you need to be at. It's a defining moment in your life. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we stay in the valley for far too long instead of getting through that valley and starting to get back up to the peak. So one of the things that's important to me, and one of the things that I've learned, is helping people, lead people to understand a defining moment. Because you can't tell them a defining moment. It's much better when you uncover it for yourself. Think of the things that you've learned, and things when you've learned and there's someone that's brought something to your attention, you go, wow, that makes sense. Or you've learned while you're going through it. I was talking to your producer today about the seasons, okay? If God has you going through a season, you can't cheat the season. One of the things that my wife always reminds me of is she set out to be thankful for 1,000 things. Because what does the Lord say? Be thankful in all things. Mm-hmm. And maybe it might be difficult if you're going through a season that's a little dark, but the understanding that God won't keep you there any longer than he has to. But you must understand what that season is to get on to the next one.
But as you know, Ray, you can get stuck there because your misunderstanding of it. We talked about both of us getting stuck for 10 years, kind of like healing for 10 years from a great tragedy, and how we don't want other people to take 10 years. We want them to recover sooner. And I think for me, I just kind of dug in and kind of hit out maybe just to heal. But I didn't mean to do that for 10 years. I mean, you know, and I think that God can heal, and being able to get insight by understanding him. And I know that for you, when we were talking, I was talking to you that in those 50 years, how you've seen the providential hand of God and the power of prayer. When you think of that, what first comes to mind to you?
Well, it's first of all, obedience leads to providence, and God's providence means God's protection on you,
right.
And which means I need to tell you the story about my friend Bruce. So, my mom had passed away in 1999, and I was mad with God for a long period of time. I was still going to church. In fact, this one Sunday, it was in 2000. I went to church. And I heard the gospel about Martha and Mary. Not that I hadn't heard it before, but I hadn't heard it quite in that way. And my mom's name was Martha Mary Maldonado. And it was about the two sides. One was busy and one was just living the moment, right? And so I went from there to go to my office to do a couple of things. And then I went to one place to pick up an LA Times. And I got the very last LA Times, and I was reading just the cover story, and a friend of mine, Bruce Buzz, had pulled up next to me, and he said, "Ray, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just getting a Times." And I said, "Bruce, what are you doing?" And he said, "Well, you know, my dad's very ill. He's probably on, you know, his last days." And he said, "I need to go to the laundromat and wash some of his sheets and some other things." I said, "Bruce, I'll go with you." And he said, "No, Ray, you don't have to do that." I said, "No, I'm not doing anything." And so I went over there, and we sat down for about an hour and a half, and he said, "Ray, what do I do? What do I do? How do I talk to my dad? Or what do I do?" And I said, "Bruce, hold your dad's hand and tell him what a great father he's been. Tell him that you'll take care of your mom, his wife, that you'll take care of the rest of the family, that everything that he could possibly do in this world, he's been done. And that when you release his hand, on the other side, God will pick up his hand, and he will take him the rest of the way, Bruce. He will now be in heaven. And so just take that moment with him and reassure him so that he can leave this world in peace and he can be embraced in heaven." And so we sat down and we talked about that for that hour and a half. I left him, and a couple of days later, he called me up, and he said, "Ray, I just want to thank you for sitting with me." I go, "No, Bruce, don't worry about that." He goes, "Ray, thank you." He says, "You don't understand. I was able to do all those things." And my dad passed away last night.
Wow.
And so that was definitely God working in you to help Bruce.
Well, he was healing me as I was healing him.
Yeah.
and I didn't even know him. That's why I talk about those defining moments and understanding the purpose of what you're going through and why you're going through it, to aid and protect the others of what God wants you to do and glorify him through whatever he's taking you through.
So Martha was busy in the kitchen and not sitting down and enjoying time with the Lord, Jesus, and Mary sat with him and listened.
Yes.
And just spent time with him. And I think that we can stay so busy in our world all the time that we forget to sit with people and enjoy them, the people we love. And
Yes.
when God moves us and brings someone to mind, or wants us to go sit with somebody or go, help somebody, we can get caught up in the busyness instead of saying, let me go with you. I'll sit with you while
Yes.
you do laundry. That's a very wonderful thing. Yeah. And Bruce, no wonder he misses you. He just said he misses you. We miss you out here, Ray. I bet he does.
Those defining moments that you've been talking about, wouldn't you say that they are God-inspired? They're a part of God's plan for your life. This moment that he brings you into, brings someone across your path or you across someone's path, and that can be a God-happening time right there.
It absolutely is. So I'll tell you another story. Mark Taylor, and I told this story at our anniversary dinner. It was part of my speech, but 15, 17 years ago, we were on a trek to Half Dome. And I had prepared for 2 years prior to that, training, getting up at 3:30 in the morning, training to be able to make that hike. And so I was one of the very first people to make it to the hard side, which means climbing up the dome. I was the very first person down on my way down when I ran into Mark Taylor. And he said, Ray, did you go up the hard side? And I said, no, Mark. As you know, I'm not that very fond of heights. And he said, Ray, sit down for a minute. Let's talk about that. You've worked so hard to prepare yourself for that hike. He says, now I'll support you for whatever you want to do, but I just don't want you not to get this far to not make it to the top. He said, I will make sure that I help somebody bring you down and that no harm comes to you. And what does God say? That no harm will come to you, right? So I went all the way to the top and I made it down to the bottom, to the soft side. And so think of it like this. God wants us all to get to the top of the mountain. And he puts people in our lives, like Mark Taylor was at that particular moment, to help me get to the top, knowing the work that I had been done and making sure that I was able to get down and no harm came to me. And there's also people that are in our lives that we're supposed to help to get to the top of their mountain. And so when you recognize those moments, whether it's just outside, taking a moment to nurturing somebody, to give them some conversation, to let them know that God loves them, and whatever they're going through, God's still there for them. Mm-hmm. And that's why people are there for us, and that's why we're there for others.
So when you think back, the people that have really impacted you the most, that have been people that you think that have helped you the most, impacted you the most, who comes to mind?
Well, one of those stories would actually be, my family. At the very beginning, and you've heard me tell this story, but my dad's mom died when he was 2 years old. My mom's dad died when she was 10. And so each one of them were missing a parent, right? But still, my grandmother supported her family by taking the bus to the Green Hotel, cleaning rooms, doing other things, doing laundry, no matter. And my mom, at 10 years old, was responsible for watching her sisters and her brother. And my dad, my uncle, and all the people, all the kids, picked fruit in the San Joaquin Valley for 4 or 5 years before my grandfather would go help build Santa Anita racetrack. And when he retired, he was 69 years old, but not before. At 57 years old, he would become a United States citizen.
Wow.
These are honorable people who did work. And
yes.
What does the Lord say? He says, there's honor in all work as long as you do it in the name of the Lord. Okay?
Yep, that's true. That is true.
Santa Anita horse racetrack?
Yes.
I've been there.
He helped build that place.
Oh, my gosh.
He really
Makes me
did.
Miss California. I just got back from California. I already miss it. There's so much going on in California. Is it affecting In-N-Out? Do you know, as far as all the fires and all the just a lot of tragedy going on there.
Well, I'm sure that it's, we're not going to endanger associates' lives.
That's good.
So if there's something and that's going to be close to a store or people need to go home to protect their homes, In-N-Out would never not do that, close down a store to allow people to be with their families.
Right.
Well, and you have a lot of stores in California. That's why I was asking, with all the stuff going on with the fires and everything. And then just, there's always something. I think that you had told me one of the stores they had to close for a little while because of something that was going on. But that was quite a while ago.
Yeah. We forgot to let Dr. Slaughter told us about how to log on to your computer to get Defining Moments, my radio show, by the way, which will be at 7:30 in the morning on Thursdays. My wife already has a show on Mondays called Refining Friends with Marta Greenman, and they're doing a great job. I listen to that show all the time. But Dr. Slaughter, can you tell them how to get the show?
You can download the app, graceandtruthradio.world, graceandtruthradio.world. And it goes all around the world. I mean, that's why it's called that. And people all over the world will hear your program, be encouraged and inspired by what you've experienced in the Lord and what you have to say. So you can go to your app store, your Play Store, or get the app, graceandtruthradio.world. You install that, and then when it's time for the program, you just hit that app, and then you'll have an opportunity to push play, and the show immediately you'll hear it.
You can also chat on that app. You can chat while you're right in the middle of Ray's show. Jim's show's there as well. You can also go to graceandtruthradio.world, the website, and listen as well if you don't have, you don't want to download an app to your phone. You can listen there. And Refining Friends, that sounds like a nice topic. What is that show about?
It's based off of as metal sharpens...
Iron sharpens iron.
As iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another.
Yep.
So with the women doing Refining Friends, she talks about women doing that? It's
just about... In friendships in all aspects.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And your show, you're going to have men on that actually share defining moments in their lives, right? Things that you admire.
Yeah. Pivotal moments in your life.
Wonderful. Well, and we just hope that you will tune in. When does that show start?
In December. Probably in about 3 weeks.
Okay, wonderful. Guys, stay right here. When we get back, we're going to share more about Ray.
Been listening to Dr. Wallach, and I bet you have some questions. We want to help. And here's how you can get the answers. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call right now. Don't wait any longer to find out how Dr. Wallach's own all-natural nutritional supplements by Youngevity can help you. Are you concerned with reducing your risk of heart disease, cancer, stroke, or high blood pressure? Help is available. Do you have arthritis, sore joints, lower back pain, or fibromyalgia? Call now. Dr. Wallach creates his own formulation so you can be sure that what is on the label is actually in the bottle. Whatever your health challenge, make this call. Thousands like you have seen results for a happier, healthier life. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Call today, 800-214-0065. Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just two of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible Youngevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Who could ever take care of your sweet fur baby as well as you do? Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies, that's who. If you live anywhere near Fort Worth and need a trusted pet wellness center, look no further than Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies. They'll take every possible measure to ensure your animals get the care they deserve. The highly trained animal lovers at Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies work hard to learn everything they can about veterinary care, and they share that information with you. They offer grooming for dogs and cats, pet food, toys, supplies, and all the clothing your pet needs to be happy, healthy, and well cared for. Yes, I said pet clothing. They even have a self-dog wash available. Whether it's grooming, loving care while boarding, or even training for your baby, call Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies today. 817-720-6067. That's 817-720-6067. Or find them on the web at www.petmesupplies.com. Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies. 2 locations to choose from, Hazlitt and Saginaw. Pet Me Grooming, Boarding, and Supplies. Call today.
They say we're not getting any younger, but many thousands have felt younger after a few short months using Dr. Wallach's all-natural longevity nutritional supplements. How many times have you said one of these days, I need to call Dr. Wallach and find out what I need? Well, make that day today. Here's how to get that information. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call. The information is free, and there is no pressure. So do it now. That's 800-214-0065. If you face health challenges such as heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, fibromyalgia, depression, infertility, ADD or ADHD, high blood pressure, or one of hundreds of other diseases, help is available. All you have to do is make the call. You have nothing to lose but the pain and suffering. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
To admit it's getting better, a little better all the time.
You're getting better all the time. Now back to Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
Welcome back, everyone. It's so good to have everybody joining us, and seeing the names on the computer screen here is really encouraging. We have Ray Maldonado with us. If you've just joined us, Ray was a longtime executive with In-N-Out Burger, America's favorite burger. And Ray, you are going to be starting a radio program, radio show coming up on the Grace and Truth Radio.world station, digital station. And they go all over the world. And we were talking about this earlier. So people all over the world literally will be hearing about your show, Defining Moments. And so I'm going to hand it back over to you and let you tell us a little bit more about that and what's going on with you and with that.
One of the things we're talking about in the break is that we've all had defining moments. And I like to explain mine like this. The guy would leave me a little Post-it, and I'd put it on the refrigerator. And then he'd leave me another one, and I'd put it on the refrigerator. Eventually, those made it into the trash can. But not till he brought me to my knees that I understand that he was getting my attention. Mm. And the Post-its were easy. They were an easy read, and they were easy to follow those instructions and be obedient at that time. But not till I got to my knees that I understand that I needed to be obedient before I would get providence. So my intention is to help people refrain from having to get on their knees like I did. You know, I like, it's been said that, you know, you can be humbled by God's hand, or you can be humbled by your own. And it's easier to be humbled by your own than it is to be humbled by God's.
Oh, man, he sure is.
You know, another thing that I'm working on is that I'm on the board of directors with a ministry called Build International Ministries.
Right, right. Tell us something about that.
Yeah, you know, I met Sandy Anderson, probably 7 or 8 years ago, and one of the things that he was speaking at Wingman. In fact, that's where I met him.
I remember him. I was there.
Yeah, and he was talking about the three things I know. You know, Sandy was an orphan, raised in an orphanage in India. Never had running water, wasn't able to bathe and those types of things. And so one of the things that he said is that the past is in the past. Mm-hmm. So think of it as you don't look in the rearview mirror more than you have to. He was talking about a bank. He went into a bank, and he couldn't open the security door, until the door behind him closed. Mm-hmm. And think of your lives. There's many doors that you're not able to open until the door behind you has been closed on the past that you have.
Wow, what a great analogy.
Yeah, that was a great analogy for me, right?
Yeah.
And one of the other things that he said was, well, the first thing he said was, you're special, I'm special, we're all special. Go do something special. And the second thing was about the door. And the third thing was, it's not about you. It's about others. Whatever you do, do it for others. And so that's when I pulled him off to the side and had a conversation with him. And he and I have had a relationship ever since. And then I've been on his board of the directors for the last couple of years. I'm also working with a company called Pathway Healthcare. I'm on the board of directors of that company. And it's really about helping people with addiction. And, the opioid crisis is unbelievable. So I really believe in what Scott Olson at Pathway Healthcare is doing. And I want to be able to help him create a culture with his company and how to serve others. Because that's really what it's all about. God wants us to serve others.
Service has been, and serving others has been a hallmark of your life, Ray, whether we're talking about In-N-Out Burger, whether we're talking about Beal International, whatever it may be. And that seems to be a mark that you're leaving on the world. And it impresses me and makes a big impact on me, and I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'd be remiss if I didn't, talk about 50 years, and there's probably some moments in your life that are very difficult to get through, or a career that are very difficult to get through. Probably starting 3 years ago was a very difficult time. My son-in-law, Louis Marchesano, who was supposed to replace me out here, died of a sudden heart attack, And so it's been very difficult for, my wife and my daughter Heidi and my granddaughter. So they came out to live with us. And then after that, a friend of mine who worked for the company also, Frank Nila, died of cancer. And then a year ago, my friend Ray Gonzalez died of cancer. And so all these different things. So when you talk about that season, I couldn't shorten the season, but I knew that there would be an end of that season, and there'd be healing after that season and through that season. So
God heals.
God heals.
Yeah. And I think knowing that he does, and that you're going to get through it. And I think for you, those 3 years were tough.
Yeah.
But now you can see the other side a little bit, and the world keeps going, and you just keep getting better, right? And I think we're very excited about what's going to happen to you, all the stuff you're doing. You've been so good to us and been on many times, so we just thank you.
Will you come back and do it again?
I will.
You just take a wonderful, yes, thank you.